Good day everyone, I am Sue Shankar. My battery number is 193357 and these two are my group mates. Kavir, battery number is 193960, Sivan Raj, and his battery number is 193765. This is our academic presentation for BPI. This is video for you. Okay, for my side, I will introduce about introduction for materials. As far as we all know, we all are engineering students. So each of us are from different field of engineering. So we have different types of engineers, but with different types of field materials used in their field. But right now I will briefly explain about what is material in engineering first. Okay, materials of engineering refers to selecting the correct materials for the application in which the engineered part is being used. This selection process includes choosing the materials, paying attention to its specific type or grade based on the required properties. Engineers also will be select a particular grade of material based on its properties such as malleability or tensile strength. Composites comprise two materials such as metallic, mesh and resin. The combination of which all also depends on the properties required. And also for the engineers, they need to select the materials perfectly, because if there's any differences in their standard variation or anything, it will cause some problems for engineers to know what's the materials being designed for. Okay, next. Okay, the second point of mine is material used in aerospace engineering. As you all know, I'm from aerospace engineer, so I will let you know what is the most material that we used in aerospace field. Okay, as you can see here in aerospace field, we use a lot of materials to build an aircraft or an aeroplane. But the most people use to build an aircraft or an aeroplane is aluminium. Because aluminium is a chemical element with a symbol Al, an atomic number of 30. It's a boron group actually, and it's by mass, aluminium makes 8% of the Earth crust, and it's the third most abundant material in the Earth. Okay? As you can see here, aluminium metal is so chemically reactive that native specimens rare and limited to extreme reducing environments. Instead, it is found combined in over 270 different minerals in aluminium. So, as I want to conclude is that aluminium is actually a metal which can have low density and can withstand high pressure above the sea level. So, it is used in aerospace to make the outer layer of an aircraft. So it can be withstand the air pressure above the sea level. So that's the one of the main reason why aluminium is more and then it's abundant. And that's one reason why aerospace engineers use aluminium to build their aircraft. That's one of it. Okay, that's from me. Thank you. I will pass to my friend Kavir.
For my turn, I'd like to talk about the different types of concrete used in construction and the technological development that has been made to produce a more sustainable concrete. First of all, I'm going to talk about this green concrete. Green concrete is basically, before I talk about green concrete, I'll just like to say what is concrete all about. Concrete is a mixture of cement, water, chemical admixture and also aggregate. So the mixture of all this sub-material and we come up with concrete. So green concrete is basically a few steps that we add inside the procedure of making concrete to produce a concrete which is more environmental friendly and also prevents the destruction of environment. Because as we know, to produce concrete, one of the major materials that we require is aggregate, and one of the common way of getting aggregate is from quarries and so on. So by keep on digging on quarries to obtain this aggregate, it will cause major environmental destruction. Therefore, this green concrete helps us in a way where the users of waste material will help to prevent this environmental destruction. Secondly is green concrete at the same time also helps in the decrease in carbon footprint, and at the same time helps to optimize the usage of energy, as we are using waste material again. Therefore, it goes in a cycle, and we don't have to go back to the quarry to get in more aggregate and other materials, so on. Next, I'm going to talk about different material used as aggregate for the concrete. Recently, we have started making use of waste material for as aggregate for concrete, as it's more eco-friendly and also it relates to the 3R concept at the same time. One of the example of waste product is waste material, not say product. Waste material is used seashell. When these companies they go collect seashell by the side, they go ask from the farm fishers and so on. And by using this seashell, it helps to also strengthen the bond between the cement, the concrete paste, and also the aggregate, as a seashell has a very rough texture which helps to increase the bond between the concrete and the aggregate. Yeah. So next. Okay, next I'm going to talk about steel. Steel is used in the foundation work in building. As we can see, if you just pass by the roadside and so on, we can see that before they even start building, they lay out the foundation first, and steel is the most common material that's used for this foundation. It has a lot of different uses in the industry, but mostly one of it is known as rebar steel, which is also known as reinforcement bar. Normally, it's used for beam and column, so that it can reduce the tension between each floors. Because it's only if you build a house or even a shopping mall which is more than 1 story high, it requires a product or a material to reduce the tension between each floor, because the weight will be pushing the concrete down. So the rebar steel helps in holding the concrete in place at the same time. For example, you can see the beam and column in our class itself is held by rebar steel. At the same time, it eases the work at the construction field. So if you can imagine what will happen to the construction field if you have no steel available, we'll be out of a very strong material to support our foundation, and we'll have to look for other resources which does not ease the work at the construction field. So we must be happy that we have the steel as one of our material available for at the construction field. Okay, next I'm going to talk about is type of steels used in construction site. Different type of steel have different type of strength. Commonly we have two type of steel, which is the hot form steel and the cold form steel. The difference in both the steel is the procedure of making it. Hot form is a bit more stronger compared to cold form, but it's very hard to be shaped into any material. Secondly, is cold form steel is a bit more softer compared to hot form, but it's easier to shape the cold form steel compared to the hot form steel. And all these different type of materials can be used in different type of construction, which eases the work of the contractor. So next, I'll pass on to my friend Sivan.
Alright, okay, good day everyone. Now I'm going to talk about the existence of silicon in our daily life. So as we all know, silicon is one of the most abundantly found elements on Earth's crust. Like what earlier Shan said, how aluminum is the third most, silicon happens to be the second most abundantly found element on the Earth's crust. I'm over here to talk about the importance of silicon. It's an essential element for the living of all living creatures, for the life of all living creatures. Okay, here I like to highlight, even in our hair conditioner, there's silicon in it. And to see that even for our hair growth, for our hair moisture, we need silicon. That shows how essential silicon is. And silicon is also used as a semiconductor in the technological industry. Alright, now I'm going to talk about semiconductors. It's very useful, but I'm pretty sure you guys are wondering what semiconductor really is. Now, semiconductor is any material that conducts electricity between conductors and insulators, conductors such as metals and insulators such as ceramics. Besides that, semiconductors also act as a insulator at very low temperature and as conductors at very high temperature. They allow the movement of electron between one material to another. Next, silicon and its components. Silicon makes up more than 27% of the Earth's crust. Like I mentioned earlier, it's so easily obtained that humans put really good use to it. Come on, imagine having something so easily obtained and wasting it. That's not right, right? And it appears to be an important nutrient because almost 90% of any element found on the Earth's crust happens to have silicate component in it. So with this, I'm pretty sure that You guys are well aware that the importance of material in our daily life, and as engineers we should really understand the processing properties of each material, although they differ in different fields. But it is very important for an engineer to understand, as this might, in future, if one doesn't understand the importance of material, okay, for instance, in civil side, the construction might fall down. For instance, in aerospace side, the plane might crash, and from my side, a plant might fail. So every materials have its own property, and it's up to us to use it up to its maximum potential. And I hope that all of us will become great engineers one day, and we will know how to handle each material differently according to its chemical and physical properties. Thank you.